All right, and I need to share my screen. So yesterday we kind of had a big lesson. It was kind of complicated. It was a lot of work, I feel like. But I feel like maybe, hopefully, with a little bit more practice, you'll understand it. So plan for today is we're going to go over this review worksheet. So basically, this is like your level work. This is your classwork, okay? We're probably going to do maybe half the problems. There's 18 questions, so sure, let's do 9 questions together, just to really make sure that you understand how to do this because we are moving on tonight. So your homework tonight, you do have video notes, okay? For your video notes, let's see, I don't remember what it is. Let's see what your video notes are. 7.8 is, factoring special products. It's not as hard as the other one, the 7.7 that we learned yesterday, but it's as long as you recognize a pattern, you should be okay. So just listen, make sure you try to find or see a pattern, and then we'll go over it on Monday, okay? And I think like 2 days, that's when it gets really tricky again for something different. So I'll kind of give you a warning with that. But anyways, all right, so let's have this open and out, and let's do some together. How about we'll just do the evens, okay? We'll do the right column, and then you guys can do the left column together, or by yourself, rather, okay? So what I want you to do first is I feel like there's so many steps and so many rules. Maybe if you wrote down the steps, like what you need to do when you factor, it'll be easier for you to just follow the steps, and then so you know what to do, okay? So first step, so let's just all write this at the top of our paper, okay? First step, whenever it says to factor, what should you always do first? Take out, what? Well, you don't always have a 2. So take out GCF. So take out GCF and slash or means and do this, or if you see this, do this. So, or sometimes your problem will start with a symbol and you have to get rid of it. So what is that symbol that you always have to factor out? The negative. Okay, so first thing you always need to do whenever you start with a problem is don't just go into big X. Think, okay, is there a GCF that I can take out? Is there a negative I can take out? Like number 8, there's a negative you can take out, and your problem won't work if you still have a negative in your problem that you start off with. Okay, after you do GCF and after you take out a negative, if that's necessary, then the second thing you're going to do is you don't do big X. You have to see if you can do magic numbers, right? You only do magic numbers if it starts with something other than a 1. So I'm going to write magic numbers, but I'm going to put a question mark because maybe you don't have to do magic numbers. Maybe after you take out a GCF, your problem starts with like a 1x squared. So maybe you don't have to do magic numbers. And then the last thing you have to do is then you just do big X. So this is the order. If you follow from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, you really should be okay, I think, in terms of getting the right answer. And remember, you can always double check your answer by multiplying it out, like multiplying your answer, and you should always get the original problem, okay? So let's do this. Let's start with number 2. I'll do the evens with you, okay? So number 2, step number 1, take out a GCF or a negative. Can I take out a GCF or a negative? No, so I'm skipping step number 1. Step number 2, magic numbers. Yes, I should because it starts with a 2. So I'm going to take this 2 and I'm going to draw an arrow. I just do that so if I ever see an arrow, big arrow in my problem, I know that I have to divide by 2 at the very end. So my new problem, remember, and I'm going to write x's for everything, is going to be x squared plus 3x minus, and then 9 times 2 is 18. So do you see how I changed my problem entirely? I now have a 1x squared. So I just did step 2. So now step number 3, I just do big X. So I can do big X, negative 18, positive 3. Okay, so 18, I think that you guys, it's easier for you to figure out what times what is 18 in your head because it's a small number. But like yesterday, there were some questions that was like 200, 300, 180. Those have a lot of factors. Okay, so don't be mad at me because I didn't tell you yesterday or show you yesterday, but I'm going to show you a trick now, okay? What times what equals 18? What times what equals 25? What times what equals 5,000? Whatever. So take out your calculator, okay? Let's clear the memory just so that nothing is messed up with it. So second plus 712, second plus 712, second plus 712, second plus 712. So let's say that you just have a complete brain fart and you're like, I don't know what times what equals 18. I just can't think right now. I'm so tired. Then a way that your calculator can tell you what times what is 18 is go to the y equals. So all of you go to y equals. And you're going to take this number, 18, and then type in 18 divided by x. So just type in 18, and you're always going to write divide by x. Now go to your table. So error, because nothing times 0 is 18. But now do you see, if you look at your table, 1 times 18 is 18, 2 times 9 is 18, 3 times 6 is 18, 4 times 4.5, but we always use whole numbers. So just ignore the decimal ones. 6 times 3 is 18. 9 times 2 is 18. So do you see how it gives you all the factors of 18? Honestly, I feel like maybe you don't need it with 18. And I just use 18, but even since it said negative 18, technically I could just type in a negative 18 and go back to my table, and it'll tell me, like, okay, 1 times negative 18, 2 times negative 9, 3 times negative 6, and it'll go here, like, so it'll tell you negatives too, but I normally just always use the positive version, and I just figure out the negatives too. Okay, so like 18, not that big of a deal, but what if you have to find something like what times what is like 360? Like that's a big one. There's a lot of possibilities, right? So now if you do 360 divided by x, you always have to write divide by x. Look, you can get everything. So 1 times 360, 2 times 180, 3 times 120, 4 times 90, 5 times 72, 6 times 60. Like, you see how it gives you every single possible factor? So I feel like that might speed things up for you a little bit, maybe. Just a thought. So use that if you want to. That's just a little trick. You don't use it if you just want to use your brain, whatever. But anyways, negative 18, positive 3. All right, what are the two numbers? 6 and negative 3. Okay, so I have x plus 6, x minus 3. Now what? Divide by 2. Thank you. Remember, since I see this big arrow, I know that there's one last thing I have to do. Since I times it by 2, now I have to divide by 2. So final answer would be x plus 3, because 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then 3 over 2 cannot simplify anymore. So remember what we did? The denominator always pops up to the front. So it's 2x minus 3. This is my final answer. I know it's right, because if I had FOILed it or distributed it or whatever, I would get my original problem. And that's how I know I got it right. Okay? So let's do something maybe slightly harder. All right? So number 4. So step number 1, GCF. Can I take out a GCF? No. Can I take out a negative? No. So let's do step number 2, magic numbers. Should I do magic numbers? Yes. So go ahead and take the first number, multiply by the last. Can someone in person tell us, what does my new problem look like? Jack, go.
X squared plus 19 and plus 60.
Cool. Okay. So now step number 3, big X. 60 actually has a lot of factors. So maybe you want to do that trick I showed you on the calculator. Go to the y equals, hit 60 divided by x, and then go to your table, and then it'll show you every single factor, what times what is 60. And that might help you figure out what will equal 19 or add up to 19. Somebody in person? What is it?
4 and 15.
4 times 15. I hope that saves you a little bit more time. Okay, so you have x plus 4, x plus 15. What do I do now? Divide by 5, right? Because since I times it by 5, now I have to divide by 5. Divide by 5. Okay, 4/5 cannot simplify as a fraction, so I would write that answer as 5x plus 4. 15 divided by 5 can simplify as a whole number. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So I write x plus 3, and that's my answer. Okay. Hopefully not too bad yet. Number 6. All right, online kids, you're up. So, okay, cool, Melanie. Thank you for letting me know. All right, online kids. So, first of all, do I have to take out a GCF, yes or no?
No.
Okay, do I have to take out a negative, yes or no?
No.
Okay, so do I have to do magic numbers?
Yes.
Okay. So somebody unmute themselves and tell us what's the first thing I have to write.
N squared plus 5n plus 4.
Perfect. Okay, that's step number 2. Step number 3 says big X. So I have a 4 and a 5. Somebody other than Kip online, tell us, what's the 2 numbers?
4 and 1.
Thank you. Right, 4 times 1 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So somebody other than Luke, tell me, what do I write now?
X plus 4, and then parentheses X plus 1.
Perfect. Okay, somebody other than Ella, what do I do now?
Divide by 2.
Thank you, right? Because you times it by 2, so divide by 2, divide by 2. So somebody that has not spoken online at all yet today, what is my final answer?
X plus 2. And 2x plus 1.
So the 2 here goes in front, right? Because it's a fraction. I can't write fractions, so it's 2x plus 1. And remember, you can double check your answers by just foiling it out or multiplying it out, and then you should get your original problem. Okay, let's make it even more complicated now. Number 8. Step 1, GCF or negatives. All right, in-person kids, what do I do first? Negative. So I'm taking out a -1. Some people are doing magic numbers before you take out the GCF or before you take out the -1, and it gets you a different answer. Okay, you have to take out the negative first. Do not do magic numbers until you take out the negative. So remember, if I take out the negative, all of my symbols get flipped like this. So that was step number 1. Step number 2, magic numbers. So somebody in person, will you tell us what should I now write in the parentheses? Oh, sorry. Read, go.
X to the second minus 11x plus 18.
Okay, so that was step number 2. Step number 3, let's do big X. So you have 18 and -11, -9 and -2, right? Because it has to equal a positive. So negative times a negative is a positive, but it does add up to a negative. So you still have this -1 on the outside, guys. Please don't lose it, okay? If you forget to write this negative, then your entire thing becomes wrong. You have x minus 9, x minus 2. All right, now what? Not divide by -3. Yeah, just divide by +3, because this is a +3 that I multiplied to the other one. So divide by 3, divide by 3. Okay, so who knows the final answer? What do we got, Vaughn?
Negative 3x minus 2 and then x minus 2.
Vaughn said this, but she reversed the parentheses, and that's fine. No, it's fine. It's the same thing. You get the same answer. It is correct. Vaughn also said negative instead of -1, and that's the same thing too. Okay, so you can write -1 on the outside, or you can just write negative. Not a big deal. Okay. Number 9. I'm going to do number 9, even though it's an odd number, because it's different than all the other ones we've done so far. So I don't want you to forget that maybe, there are different variances here. Okay, so for number 9, what's the first thing you think you have to do? Read.
Divide everything.
Oh, GCF. We haven't taken out any GCFs yet today. And I feel like I worry that you guys forget. You have to take out a GCF if there is a GCF. Because if I took this 15 and multiplied it by the 6, I would get the wrong answer. Okay, I would end up getting the wrong answer. So if you can take out a GCF, you have to. All right, online kids, what's the GCF here?
3.
Yeah, 3. So 3 is the biggest number that I can take out. So somebody different online, can you tell me what I have to write in the parentheses?
5n squared minus 9n minus 2.
Perfect. So do you see what Luke did? He just divided by 3, divided by 3, divided by 3. All right, so that was step number 1. Step number 2, magic numbers. I have to do magic numbers because, look, it still starts with a 5. Okay, so don't forget, I still have the 3 out there. Somebody other than Kip, somebody other than Luke online, can you tell me what I have to write now?
N squared minus 9n minus 10.
Thank you. Okay, so now that was step number 2. Step number 3 is big X, -10, -9. Someone other than Kip or Luke or Ella online, what are the two numbers?
-1 and 10.
So close. Sam, these are the right numbers, but you got your
And
symbol.
-10.
Yep. Hey. I did. Okay, thank you. Fine. Jack, you can go up really quick. Okay, so +1, -10, right? Because it has to be a -9. 1 plus -10 is -9. Okay, don't forget, you still have the 3 there. You still have a 3 on the outside. Don't lose it. You have x plus 1, x minus 10. Okay, online kids, what do I do now?
Divide by 5.
Thank you, right? Since you times it by 5, you have to now divide by 5, divide by 5. Okay, somebody other than Kip or Luke or Ella or Sam, what's my final answer? Don't do it, Kip.
3.
Don't do it, Kip. I know that awkward silence is so bad, but let's let someone else have a chance. Brooke, Garrett, Grant, JC, Kiki, Mason, Melanie, Tia. The world is on your shoulders.
Is it 5x plus 1 and then x minus 5?
Very close. 10 divided by 5.
Oh, it's 5.
10 divided by 5 is 2. Yeah.
2.
And then don't forget to lose, or don't forget about the 3. So the 3 is still there. Okay. Number 12. Like you can kind of read it, but you can kind of not read it. So maybe let me just like unsquish it. I have no idea why I got so squished. -14m squared plus 13m minus 3. All right. Sienna, what's the first thing I have to do? Take out a negative. Do you see how your problem starts with a negative? So take out a negative. So Sienna, what's left inside?
M squared plus 13m.
Well, so you took out a negative. So all of these symbols get flipped. So minus 13m plus 3. Okay. Emily, what do I do next?
You check if you can have like a GCF and then do magic numbers.
Okay, so can I take out a GCF, Emily?
No.
No. So do magic numbers. So I have -1. Okay, so let's do magic numbers. Cameron, what am I left with?
Negative parentheses m squared subtract 13m plus 42.
Good job. Okay, Luis, what do I do now?
Big X.
Big X. So I have 42 and -13. Did anyone?
-7, -6.
Thank you. -7, -6. So -1, x minus 7, x minus 6. Kayla, what do I do now? Good job, right? Because you multiply by 14. So you have to divide by 14, divide by 14. Okay, so we're running into this issue again where I told you yesterday, please do not write 14x minus 7. Remember how I said if these little fractions right here can simplify, you have to simplify them first. Okay, so I would just hit alpha y equals enter. 7/14 is 1/2. And then 6/14 is 3/7. So I'm going to save myself the heartache of trying to simplify in my head and then try to convert it in my head. I'm just going to spend the extra 5 seconds and rewriting it with a simplified fraction. So there's no question about it. I can see it, I can visualize it, and I can say, oh, okay, fine. My final answer, Owen, is
X or 2x minus 1, parentheses, and then 7x minus
and Owen, what did I forget?
the negative.
Yeah, so don't forget you still have a negative on the outside. Okay, how do we feel? I mean, I could do 3 more questions with you and I'll do half of this paper with you, or do you just want to do it by yourself? What do we think? What'd you say?
I'm good.
Okay, but what about other people? I mean, it's okay if you need more practice. I'm totally okay with that too.
I'm fine.
Okay, how about this then? If you feel like you still need more help, then when you double check your answers next to Ryan, behind Jack, then maybe you can come up and ask me to verify, clarify, whatever. Online kids, same with you, okay? A lot of you have not been coming to check your answers. So I'm hoping that you are super, super confident, but if you're not, always come back to the meet, okay?